Okay, I think everybody can see my screen. Yes. All
Yes,
right.
it looks good.
Okay.
Yep, and the message just popped up that recording has started. So everyone knows.
Everybody knows. Now, thank you again for coming. And this, I'll say a few words about CMRC. And I don't know, we wanted to go around introduce everybody or not, but if you don't mind, you can just put a chat, your name and then your representation, if you, and because we have a lot to go through, so we'll just get going with the meeting. So the agenda today, I'll say a few words about for people that are kind of new in CMRC. I'll say a few words about what it is, and then the agenda is shown here. Okay. So CMRC again really is the notion about it's a diversity council program. It's really about the purpose about somebody wants to come in. Oh no, okay. The purpose is to really to say that we want to change the power dynamic, to amplify voices. Who are the voices? The voices typically the voices that are marginalized or underrepresented. So the whole idea about amplifying those voices, and then the most important part is really to integrate the voices and find common core so that we don't stay in our own lane. We want to be able to integrate our voices and find solidarity so that our voices become more powerful. And also we want to be able to change the system and process by really recommending co-designing so that processes are being drafted, designed upfront, not after the fact. And we have this is a picture of our steering committee members. I won't go through all of them. So I guess I'll just stop at that. Just a kind of brief introduction, okay, of CMRC and what we are. Our purpose really is to help all of us to integrate our voices. Okay. Next, I think I have Jennifer up first for Rochester Public Schools. So I'll just have Jennifer go through her presentation. I have your slide up, Jennifer.
Thank you, Al. I appreciate that. And hello, it's nice to see everybody. I'm Jennifer Spindler-Craig, and I'm the coordinator of family engagement in Rochester Public Schools. And I know many of you, and it's great to meet a few new people as well. And as we get started with that idea of amplifying voices, on the next slide, Al, one of the initiatives that we're getting started with now for parent and community engagement is that we're having Rochester Public Schools multilingual online parent engagement meetings. And those just started this last week. So these will be with the idea of elevating our multilingual parent voices and creating a forum where hopefully we will be able to amplify those voices, maybe mutually share information, questions, concerns, and ideas, and hopefully move toward more co-design experiences. So at those meetings, RPS parents, caregivers are welcome. We have bilingual specialist interpreters who participate. I'm there, and then our multilingual learner coordinator as well, and additional guests and speakers. And maybe you have some ideas that you might recommend as well. So those are going to be usually virtual on Google Meet Mondays from 5 to 6:30. So on the next slide, Al, it shows the schedule that we're starting with. These will be every other Monday. And there is a link there that actually takes people to the meeting. But we had our first one in Arabic and English on Monday, and next week is, or a week out, is Spanish and English. March 13th is Somali and English. And March 27th, we haven't determined which language or languages yet. I'll work with the bilingual specialists on that plan. It's kind of unfolding and still in process, still taking shape as it's unfolding. So if we take a look at the next slide, it will show that was our first flyer for the Arabic and English night, and we'll have a new one for the next round. And our subsequent slide has the flyer for our next session, which will be Spanish and English. So this one can be shared out. The Somali English one has not been created quite yet, but I just got the translation today. So that's going to be ready hopefully by the end of tomorrow. And I'll probably share that out to Al as well. So my question for you on the next slide is kind of a question for this committee, just wondering what recommendations this group, the steering committee, and participants in this group, other presenters, might have to increase participation in the multilingual parent meetings. If there are any ways to advertise or recruit or help people feel more comfortable with participating, and or what might make these meetings most impactful for our parents and families.
I was gonna tell you there's something that I was actually emailing you about it too, but one way that we're telling people about these sessions is through conference nights. So the 21st and the 22nd, Franklin is having Franklin Elementary, their conference, which I will be attending both nights and having like a table right up front. So as parents walk in, that's like the best time you can get phone numbers, emails, any which way you can contact parents. And then that's how we get them to get to all the opportunities that the RPS is offering or anything else that schools are doing. So that's one way. I was about to email you, but I can tell you now, you can write it down, Jennifer. Do that. And then we'll also push for that on the 21st and the 22nd to let them know. And it's just February. And I know that the Somali one is coming in March 13th, right? So it would be a good way for us to advertise it.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned those dates, because what I'll do, Khadija, is I'll make sure that I get that flyer together by Monday,
Yes.
so that I can get that to you to share out.
Sounds good. Yeah. So those are like the big opportunities. Like every school, when they're having their conferences, like there's usually a table up front when people are walking in, and that's how you get your information. But if you just say, like a lot of the teachers always just put the flyers in the kids' backpack, I think they'll just not end up in the parents' hands. And so the best way is to have that contact with them.
I love that point, that personal contact and actually greeting them and having that conversation, because we put it out, of course, on the RPS website, and it will go out from the principals via their social media and newsletters. However, I think you're right, Khadija, like having a personal connection and invitation makes it different.
That's how we recruit our PTAs, our minority PTA parents. That's how we get them, is because phone calls and flyers are really not doing it. It's just that personal feeling, like we said.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And can I add what Khadija said? It's true. Having time to talk to them, because it takes time to explain what's needed to do, because it's not just as easy as logging into just with your smartphone. Well, not everybody has those applications easy, ready to pop up, I guess. And the talking points, the sending a text message that you're going to be there too, sometimes it's like, in order to make that personal connection, sometimes to let them know that that you have information for them to stop by when they come in, because they never have time. They normally come even late to their multilingual parent meetings. They just go so fast. And then when they are coming back is when they have time. But the importance is that we have that time for them.
I love that you said that, and I've seen you in action doing that as well when we were at Overland. You really welcome people and have those conversations and make it a personal experience, personal connection.
To be also with, I know that texting has become a short message, but then even to send the link by a text sometimes is the way to connect to those educational informational meetings that are going to happen, because they may not have a computer, so it has to be very easy to go click the link with the time, and hopefully they'll make it.
And then I was going to maybe respond more to the second part of your question, which is, how to make the meetings most impactful. As a multilingual person myself from an entirely different culture, I find that the meeting structures that we have here are so counter to what we're accustomed to and how we share information and commune. So as we're thinking about like the structure of the meeting itself, when people show up, allowing time for like conversation and socializing before the meeting begins, even if it's like a good 10 minutes with people milling about and talking to each other, etc. Or even maybe you might have questions put up that people can start talking about, but allowing that to happen before launching into the meeting itself. And if you are going to serve like snacks or meals or anything like that, ensuring that you're providing stuff that is like culturally appropriate for the communities that you're trying to reach out to. So like, the sandwich thing is not a thing, is what I say. So that's one of the things that I find that I've had to work around is how meetings are structured.
Okay,
really
those are very
helpful.
good ideas. If we have any more, I'm sure that we can somehow pass it through to, I can through me or individually get to you, Jennifer. Okay.
Thank you. And I don't want to take much more time, but in 30 seconds, I can just go through the last 3 slides very quickly, and then people will know about them. We had our February family engagement meeting. There's a link to the video and the slides with information on this slide. When Al shares that out, you'll have access to that. And on our next slide, there are 2 more opportunities that I just want to share out. The RPS Community Curriculum and Instruction Advisory Committee is really hoping to change the way that they have parents involved. And so this is now under the supervision of Dr. Agbamu, who is new to Rochester Public Schools. She came from St. Paul Public Schools, originally from Nigeria, and she is really working to have more voices involved, parent, family, community voices regarding curriculum and instruction. So this will have a link with information if you know anybody interested. And one final slide, which is that I am seeking community and parent caregiver information on family engagement and how we do family engagement in Rochester Public Schools. And so far, there are 2 dates that are available, and these will be 1-hour sessions with about 10 people. And if you know of somebody, if you can think of a parent or community member who might have some interest in talking with me in a small group about their perspectives on family and community engagement and how it currently is in Rochester Public School and their dreams and visions for how it could be, I would love to talk with them. So you can send me their information or contact me. And if we have lots and lots of interest, I'll add more sessions to accommodate. So thank you. Any thoughts, questions as we wrap up?
Okay, thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Al.
Okay. Now, then I have, okay, Chow, you're here, so you want to say a few words about city or?
Yes, absolutely. I have like just 2 or 3 slides that I wanted to share with everyone. And I'll send this to you at the end of this meeting. So as you all know, the city has gone through a couple of master planning projects specific to parks. And one of the things that was prioritized is ensuring that we're updating and increasing park capacity in areas that serve low income and or BIPOC communities. So to that end, we're starting to launch some work on McQuillan Park. So McQuillan Park is located right off of Marion Road, where Longfellow Elementary School used to be, right? So the expansion that is going in there. And this press release went out today, but I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that that expansion is going to include a splash pad. So the idea of bringing some aquatic features to neighborhoods that don't have access to some summer fun activities or weekend activities for families. And so there will be some engagement sessions. The first one will be on March 22nd, noon to 1, and that will take place from 6 to 7. And then there will be additional in-person ones that are going to be at Longfellow Elementary School. And as I shared, I'll share these slides with Al so that everybody can have access to them. We're really hoping that we're able to have a lot of community members to participate in this. We know that there is a large Spanish-speaking community as well as a large Somali-speaking community in that area. Really wanting to know what is important to them. There is a general structure for what the money is allocated for, but it's important for us to understand from the community how they would like that structured. So thank you, Jennifer, for the information that you shared with me about how to reach out to community and what kind of engagement. So I just wanted to share kind of a rendition of what that splash pad is supposed to look like. So the idea is to have it be a water feature that people don't have to get immersed in, nor do they have to have a swimsuit to participate in, right? And includes all family members and can be utilized, most of the year. So this is an example. And then the other one was just to show you where that area is and what is proposed. So other than a splash pad, you'll notice this is Marion Road, right next to where the Longfellow Elementary School used to be. And there is going to be a proposed splash pad, an additional shelter, restrooms for folks to change in and out of, what they might need, and then proposed basketball courts, as well as some shade spaces, some green spaces. And I'm actually really excited because my daughter went to Longfellow and really connected to that community. So please share this information with folks that you might know who live in that area or who are impacted by that space in that area in any way, so that we can have as much attendance as possible. And that is my very quick update, and I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has. A question?
That actually in my agenda, I saw a screw up that we actually from 4:30 to 6 p.m. So actually there is some time, for folks to get a little deeper too. And the way I got it was thinking there's only 1 hour. So please, have your questions, please raise them. We got time to discuss.
Well, Tao, I just wanted to tell you how excited I am about the project. It's great to hear about that. And I was curious about the in-person session that's at Longfellow, if you have an idea of what that might look like.
How it's structured, you mean?
Yes, just for the in-person evening listening session, kind of.
Yes, so it'll be structured. I know that our communications director has reached out to the principal there to set the date, etc. What we're hoping to do is to have a couple of folks as interpreters, because we're anticipating having folks who speak multiple languages there, but also the architects and developers who are going to be part of the project so that they can hear what community is sharing and how that impacts their plans. We haven't quite decided on additional details in terms of whether a meal is provided or not, but what they really want to do is to give an overview of the project and say, this is our intention, right, in terms of creating a space or a park, and then share like some preliminary rough drafts and have people react to those to say, is this something that you would like or not? Or is there an alternative placement or some consideration, say, for the restroom area, etc.? So that's the general structure. But if you have any feedback about how you think those, that conversation should be structured, we're open to that feedback.
Will you all be doing a flyer about this and telling people when, and so we can share that?
We hadn't intended to create a flyer, but do you think that would be useful, Khadija?
I think that will be useful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And flyer in what languages specifically?
Spanish, but because
okay.
And just knowing the area,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that there's been the community gardens across the street.
Yes.
Is there, I mean, because sometimes children and parents can be in the same area, but some other activities may go on. I was just having that idea that because he's crossing the street, what are you gonna do with the crossing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid that I can see how parents will be in one side and the children will be in the other side.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of the feedback I think we're hoping to hear. Like, as we structure this, are there considerations in all of these different areas, whether it's traffic flow, how the entrance is set, what kind of crosswalks to implement in that space to make it not only accessible, but safe for community members to use? So yes, Miriam, bring all of those questions and suggestions to the meeting.
Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions for me? Thank you. And I just want to, sorry, Miriam looks like she has one.
No, the volleyball is in the back. So it's still going on, the volleyball area?
Yes, my understanding is everything that is currently there, it isn't going away. They're not taking anything away. They're actually expanding and adding to it. So okay. Yeah, where the old school was that they tore down, that's the space where this feature is going to go in.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just so you know, upcoming after this one, the next park that we're going to be doing engagement on, which I think all of you will be excited about, is Martin Luther King Park. So look out for that information on how you can be engaged in that process. And thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Gino, it's your turn to talk a bit about DMC.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And thank you all for allowing me to speak to you today. Excuse me. I'm Gino Palazzari. I'm the communications manager with Destination Medical Center, Economic Development Agency. Wafa wasn't able to make it tonight, but I am very, very happy to be here in her stead. So there are a few things that I wanted to talk about. If it's okay if I share my screen, I've just got a couple of things to show everybody. First thing that
you should be able to see.
Yeah. First thing we wanted to talk about, if everybody can see my screen, can you see a map up there right now?
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Perfect. Yes. Currently, and this has been going on for almost a year now, our Main Street grant program that's going on. We're still accepting applications for it. We've got there's 3 different areas that we are now accepting applications for. The original one is coming up, the deadline for that is coming up in April. So, and that's within the Destination Medical Center District, so the DMC district, which some of you may be familiar with, but that's what's represented in this map here. We recently released a second round, and those are in 2 areas that are outside of the DMC district. We partnered with Rochester Area Economic Development Incorporated on this, since we technically can't operate outside of our district. But since we have the resources to administer the grant, we're continuing to do that in these other areas. So the grant is for capital improvements for businesses and nonprofit organizations that are within these areas. And it can cover up to 30% of the cost of those capital improvements. And the way that it's been described to me, if you're wondering what it can be used on, if you are able to take one of the businesses or one of the organizations and pick the building up and tip it upside down, whatever doesn't fall out, that can be improved upon. That's considered capital. Like a refrigerator, no, but a walk-in freezer that would stay with the building, yes, that can be something that can be improved upon. So the other two areas, it's called the Northwest Design District in the Northgate area. So if you can see this red area here, it's at 4th Avenue Northwest on the east side, 7th Street on the north. Looks like this is Highway 52 on the west side. And then I think it looks like 2nd Street Northwest is the southern boundary for that. The other area is all the way over in the Crossroads area. And then it goes all the way over by where Cub Foods and the trampoline park over in that area, Apollo Liquors over there as well, Opa, that kind of area over there. But it also gets pretty close to, just hang on a second. See you later, Patrick. And excuse me. And then so, over by close to Mayo High School in those areas as well. That's where this is right here. So as said, believe in those areas, though the application period for that will continue through December of this year. So there's still time for that. So if you know of any businesses that are interested or might be eligible for something like that, then certainly have them get a hold of us. You can find out more information on dmc.mn. And then there's a button right on the main page that says Main Street Grant. There we go. And you just click on that and it'll take you to the page that has all of the information, including the application. And we made sure the application was as simple as possible to get people started. We wanted to make sure there was a really low barrier to entry. We also have the application in 5 different languages, 4 other than English. We've got it in Spanish, in Somali, in Khmer, as well as Arabic. I know there's at least one of the people that we used, Mr. Noor was one of the people that we tapped to help us out with that. So definitely want to thank him for that. He helped us with our Somali translation. So that was pretty awesome. So if anybody has any questions on the Main Street Grant, I could take those now, or it can certainly wait until the end of the presentation. I've got a couple more things to talk about.
You may say a few words. Maybe you already done that. What is the amount that is being part of the grant?
Sure. So round 1 was approximately $3 million. And I believe we have about a third of that left right now, or pardon me, less than a third of that left right now. So yeah, there's less than $1 million left in that particular portion, and there's still a few months left on that one. In round 2, it's approximately $900,000 between the 2 areas.
I also wanted to add a little to this, Gino, because I've been part of it since it started. I've been on the reviewers. Another thing that people usually think is that they're not eligible for it, or their area is not. So some people don't can't read the map that well. So what we've done is, how we were working with Cody is that I personally went to the areas of the Cup Food, like most of the minority businesses there, we actually had to do we had to give them the flyer and just kind of talk to them about it. So we did more insight with that. And then they're mostly afraid because they don't know. It's like 30%, 70%. They're like, which one do I have to come up with? But it's so much better to use either myself or one of the other grant reviewers to contact. So if any of you here want to know more, you can contact me. I've been with them throughout the whole entire time since Deed awarded them, and I'm still going to continue being with them. So anybody can contact me and I can kind of break it down with it. And Wafa was supposed to say that today if she was here.
Oh,
But yeah.
Perfect. No, thank you, Khadija, for stepping in and saying that. Yeah, we have a community review team, of which I believe Khadija is a part of that, and they're the ones that have the first review of the applications as they come in before they make recommendations then to our EDA board. So we have yeah, definitely a big thank you to all that to those folks for the time that they put in to help us out with this grant program. They were there. We also had a great group of co-designers that helped us with the application process and the website as well. So
I did have a question, Gino.
yes,
I wanted to ask two questions. One, what are the qualifications of this grant? And what is the expected outcomes of the grant? Two, what are oh, I forgot my second question already. Sorry. But yeah,
that's okay.
of the grant. Oh, that's what it was. I think this is more a child question. I'm thinking like most of the businesses I think are like registered with the cities. I'm just thinking as far as getting the information out to people about the grant. A lot of people like businesses are registered with the city, so I'm just wondering if you guys have like generated an email to some of these businesses that are registered with the city. I know a lot of the businesses have to they get this annual information as far as like inspections and things like that. So is there some type of email generator or mail generator that can send out a lot of this information for businesses that are registered with the city?
Sure. I'll take the second question first because it's a little bit quicker. Yeah, so what we've done is, what we did in the first round is we did generate a mailing list, and we did send out a postcard that had information in all of the languages with QR codes that went to each of the specific pages on the website. And we are going to do that with this one. I'm just having a little bit of a problem getting the flyer updated, but it is high on my list of to do, and we'll again send out that to the new areas, so they'll at least have an initial mailing that will go to everybody, all the businesses, all the commercial and nonprofits in those two specific areas. So.
Okay,
And
I'm a
Nash-
little mindful of the time. Okay, did you know? And maybe some of the other question, maybe you can take it offline in terms of getting back to Nashana, her questions.
Yeah, sure. Nishana, if all that information on the qualification and the outcomes, they're all at on the Main Street webpage. So if you want to jump on there, if you have any additional questions, by all means, feel free to reach out to me or Khadija, and we could certainly help you with that.
The quick note to Nashana, I was going to tell her about business licensure is Rochester is unique in that we don't require general business licenses. And so that's sometimes a barrier. It's a wonderful thing for people to just do that, but we don't necessarily have a repository of all of those. So that's the quick thing.
Thank you.
Julie, you still got a couple more topics, right? Yep.
Yep, I still have two, and let me jump into this really quick. We would like to invite everybody to a education session that we are doing in partnership with the NAACP. So here I have it on their Facebook page. If you're wondering where it is, it's NAACP Rochester Branch MN. But we've got a 90-minute session that we're doing in partnership with them to talk about the Main Street grant. So if you want some more information on that, our member Chris Shad is going to be on talking about that. Our executive director Patrick C will also be on to talk about DMC in general. So if you want some more information about our organization, by all means, please log into that. It is at, I believe, 11 a.m. The information should be right on here. I've got it right here from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on the NAACP Rochester Branch MN Facebook page. So unless anybody has any questions on that.
Yes, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
My name is Umar Noor. I'm director of Somali American Social Service. Also, I am business owner. I am co-owner the building by Mosque, 101 North Broadway. It's downtown. We own it as a minority, but we have the biggest basement, and we try to figure out to get this mini grant. They told us, as you say now, 30%. It cost us almost 100,000. So we don't have capacity or money or resources to build that. Do you know any other organization like you guys to get another funding? Because we are not able, to build that, basement. If we do that, we can make monthly about 5,000 a month rent because we are downtown. But so we don't have any resources. Still, we need it. We are minority. We are new here. We are immigrants. We try our best. So, do you have any information to help us besides this one?
I believe there are opportunities, and we have some folks, some navigators that we have working with us, and I think they would have more information that would be able to help you out. They know some of the financial resources out there that are available. So they would be able to help you out. So for instance, Mark Tyne with SBDC, the Small Business Development Corporation, would be one to look into, and we have that information on the website as well.
The issue we have, according to our religion, we cannot, use what they call interest.
Right.
So
okay.
if you have any grant beside you, it will be great for us. So we try to get that, and we have partner. My organization partner Smith Foundation in the Otana, and we try to get. They told us only 15,000, without interest. That they started that program, but 15,000 is not enough. So if we want to, go ahead.
Yeah, just interrupt a little bit because these are deeper questions. I'd like to maybe track them and then follow up with Gino and other people to come back to you on, if you don't mind, because we're kind of be mindful of our time. Yeah, I would track it, and then I would, and in my way, kind of connect with Gino and DMC to answer your questions. Okay.
Okay.
Is that all right? Okay, Omar.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll do my best to follow up on that, Al. But yeah, thanks for making the connect.
I'll track it from a CMRC standpoint. Yeah. You have one more thing that you want to talk about, Gino, or you?
Yep, very quick. Give me another minute and I will be all done. So so next week, we'll be starting our community co-design leadership training. We'll be training 28 leaders from the city of Rochester, from DMC, Mayo Clinic, Rochester Public Schools, the Rochester Area Foundation, Olmsted County, the nonprofit consortium 125 Live, and other organizations to learn about community co-design and how to identify projects that are suitable for co-design. This is the second cohort. I happen to be in it, so I'm super excited that will receive the training. And we're looking to schedule additional cohorts in the fall of this year. And we're training 8 individuals into becoming community co-design facilitators. Facilitator training will begin in January and end in May. So if you're interested in any of those, please reach out to Wafa or myself, and we can certainly help out with that. So, but we're definitely excited about expanding our co-design family. Okay. And that's what I have, unless anybody has any further questions.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Any quick questions from anybody? Otherwise, they'll move on to the agenda. Next up is CMRC's project updates. These are funded projects, and Kathy is going to talk a bit about Compass and rural health, and I'm going to talk about RCT's Perkins. Okay, Kathy, you want to take the floor?
I think everyone here had heard some of our discussion about Compass over the last couple of months. So the news update, and I'm just turning up my mic in hopes that it'll be loud enough. The news update is that the Compass application was submitted. It ended up being submitted on February 7th because they extended the date, thankfully. And we will know at some point in April whether or not the project, which was called Healing's Intersection Between Food, Culture, and Health, will be funded by the National Institutes of Health. This is such a complicated effort that there's a 2-year planning process that comes first before the actual project period, which can extend from year 3 to year 8. And then there's also a 2-year reporting out and sustainability phase. So it has the potential to bring a lot of people together, organizations together with researchers, government organizations, and really tried to get into a deeper understanding of cultural factors and how they influence, views of healthy food, talking about cultural crops and accessibility, some of the things we commonly talk about around social determinants of health, including food insecurities. And there's actual literal research project embedded in there around fermented foods and their impact on the gut and the gut biome. So it's very exciting. It would be a statewide project. In the end, when the letters of support and everything went in, it was 188 pages long, and that included 33 letters of support from CMRC members, Healings team members from our prior project, and as I mentioned, state agencies, Olmsted County Public Health, Minnesota Medicaid, food organizations that are a little different from those who joined Healings, such as Southeast Minnesota Food Rescue and Recovery, Project Sweetie Pie in the metro area. So it would be a really exciting collaboration that would bring a lot of sustained attention and effort around food access, food insecurity issues, food and health, to many communities of color throughout our state. So more to come. As I said, there wouldn't be any notification about it until April. And if you sent a letter and kind of looked at all the details, if we are awarded these funds, the actual project itself would not start until the fall of 2023. So there'd be time for a long conversation before the 2-year planning period started. So it's going to be kind of evolving and changing as it goes along, should we have that opportunity to move forward with it. I don't know if there are questions about that. It's, it's a possibility versus a finalized discussion, but I think it's good to be optimistic, and, grants are rated in various ways. So I feel we will get many points for community engagement. Thank you to everyone who helped support this project. We have a great research team too from the University of Minnesota who are amazing in their efforts related to public health and understanding how diverse communities view food, healthy food access issues, how they see it related to health, maternal health, and individual health around that gut biome idea. So they're a pretty amazing science team as well.
Okay. Second one, do you want to say a few words about rural health or not?
Yes, absolutely. That's kind of at the other end of the continuum in the sense that we're kind of in the winding down phase. So that was a co-design project, working in conjunction with Olmsted County Public Health. And we kind of started that in the fall. And we're just kind of winding down, as I said, with some reporting to come to various county stakeholders and then to the general community at some point in April. And for that project, we had, in the end, we had 5 co-designers as individuals. And the requirements were that they were currently living in not Rochester, but rural towns in Olmsted County, or they had done that previously. They had lived experience in living in the rural communities in our county, or they had access to people who were living in rural communities in our county. And so we had a good team of co-designers, African-American Black slave heritage participants, Somali participants, and also a Latinx Hispanic participant. And we had a lot of experiences, narratives, and shares, and some, I think, small actionable recommendations, as well as some big picture recommendations and concerns needing to be addressed, as people shared their experiences of what it was like seeking healthcare. This was focused on healthcare in rural towns in our county. And I think Derek's nodding a little as well. He was part of that project, as was Khadijah. So it was good discussion, good narratives, a lot of gaps, and a general feeling of people saying basically that they didn't feel all that welcome in the small town seeking healthcare, and that a lot of what was needed was always being said, well, you have to go to Rochester for that, which then brings in all of those access issues, related to everything from transportation, to how do you schedule this, that, and the other. How do you deal with your job and family issues when you're constantly zipping in, for appointments? And we know appointments can take a long time. So it can be a day, restructure your whole day around getting some of those needs met. So I think there'll be a lot of supporting information from this project that relates to some other efforts made by the Minnesota Department of Health, and also DHS around access issues for communities of color, and some other specific projects this past year around rural community gaps and needs. So it's good to have voices from our county included in that.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm again mindful of our time and you want to get some
Stop.
get into there too. So the main thing about what Kathy's talked about and what I'm going to talk about, these projects are compensated as opposed to some of the events opportunities you previously put forward to us were not compensated. Let's put it that way. So that's why it's really important for us to emphasize the fact that these projects will yield benefit to the CMRC community. So I'm going to go next, okay, if you don't mind. So I'll go talk about the RCTC Perkins project. Let me share screen here. Okay. So this the RCTC Perkins project. What is the RCTC Perkins project? Really, the whole idea is to collaborate with CMRC collaborate with them to strengthen career and technical education. It's a federal grant, and the whole idea is that how do we involve CMRC and the BIPOC community to encourage more people to be interested in career and technical education. So this, and then what happened is that there are $40,000 that is available, immediately available to be awarded by June 2023. So it's very short time span. We only have 4 months to really come up with some ideas, some actionable idea to so that we can get at the $40,000. Okay, so what we've done is that what is the status currently? We have refined understanding what different roles and responsibilities are. So how we can help RCTC. So we have refined the document understanding, and then also we'll be establishing a project framing development plan. We've already done that. And then, as you might recall, last steering committee meeting for CMRC, we asked folks, are you interested in be part of the co-designing of this development plan, the contract? So we have 4 CMRC groups that sign up to be contract co-designers. And Journey, Pomoja Women, ACLA, and CERT represented here. And then also Diversity Council has agreed to be the fiscal host. And the whole idea then, we will have 3 compensated co-design meetings. And I think most of you will be happy with the co-design, you'll be happy with the amount of compensation you get. It's gonna be the ballpark about $2,000, okay? It may be even more than that. And really to participate in 3 review meetings. And then we'll come up with some kind of contract, okay? I'll be very quick, so just to give everybody update here. So what is action plans going forward? Is that action plan is there are 2 things that we're going forward with. One is action plan 1, I call it, really is develop and execute an immediate plan to deliver some minimum viable product. Why is it important? Because we want to get at the $40,000. We want to be able to get to prove that we can deliver something of value so that we can be entitled to that money. So under that plan number 1 is from February to June, we want to be able to come up with a planning and also an execution, okay? And then also for a longer term, we also feel that we should be more thoughtful, because this CTE grant actually have a longer term thought. So even though this particular moment we need to find something deliverable in the short term, we actually wanted to longer term have a longer thought about how do we come up with a more strategic way to design something that is more long lasting, so the ecosystem will be benefiting students, encourage people to attend CT, Community Technical College. Okay. And this little diagram is a little bit kind of complicated. Really, this chart here really shows you who the roles and responsibilities are. And somebody's waiting to come in. Oh, Omar needs to come back in. And you have the coordinator, which is RCTC, and then there's a role to play, the facilitator, which is my role, and then there's a role of contract co-designers, and the 4 groups that have signed up are the co-designers. So this picture shows there'll be 3 review meetings, maybe at about 1.5 hour in duration. And just by attending these meetings and do some homework, review the document, you get pretty good compensation. Okay, I think you'll be happy with the compensation. And the Diversity Council become the fiscal host in the sense that you invoice Diversity Council, and Diversity Council would then invoice back to us, RCTC, and then you get fulfillment from a funding standpoint through this structure here. Okay, so this is a really quick summary, and I would just kind of give you a little basically a status report of what was brought up, and then we'll be talking to the 4 teams that have signed up, the 4 groups have signed up to really to schedule the review meetings. Okay. Any question? Okay, it was a pretty short one.
There are a couple of people trying to get in. I don't know if there is a way to accept them.
I don't see anyone. I just, Omar came back, so I let him in, but I don't see anyone else. Oh, I see there's an email now from Gloria. I'll send her a link here in the email. Thank you.
And
So is Stephanie. Yeah, Stephanie too. Stephanie Whitehorn.
Well, I sent it to Stephanie.
I know I sent one to her too, but I don't.
Okay.
She didn't.
Stephanie was here before, huh?
She was, yeah. I think. I
Stephanie
thought
was
I
here.
saw her.
And
Thank you.
okay, so there's a quick summary of the status of this RCTC grant. The main point is this is a good opportunity for us to really get some financial benefit from some work that's being done in a very short time. And I believe that the work is, utilizing our knowledge, our reach, our connection to offer value that is being estimated to be of value to the requester. So that our time being spent is of value, not so much as another thing that we need to help promote. I'm not discounting the value of that, just that we want to emphasize we have expertise here, we have brand reach, and our networking capability from a CMRC standpoint is of financial value. And these step projects demonstrate that the value that people are willing to pay for our service. Okay. All right, so I'm done with this unless somebody have any questions. But you'll hear more from me in terms of those 4 groups that have signed up to be interested in the review phase and get compensated for that. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll go. What's next? Who's next is community health assessment website.
Awesome. Thank you, Al, and appreciate you all allowing me to be here this evening. I'm Derek Fritz. I'm housed within Olmsted County Public Health Services and help facilitate this joint effort between Public Health, Mayo Clinic, and Olmsted Medical Center. So I have some slides here. There's quite a few, so some of them I'll send this to you after to be able to share with everyone. So we'll jump ahead a little bit with some of the slides just to be able to show the new community health needs assessment platform that we built, and then also have some questions for you all that would love to gather feedback and any insights that you all have. So I'll actually do what I said and start sharing my slides here. So just to kind of frame these questions up for you all, we'll talk more at the end and have more of a discussion at the end, but just to give you these in advance, essentially. So kind of where we're at within the community health assessment and planning process, as you'll see, is really identifying strategies to address some of our community health priorities. And so we would love to hear any thoughts that you have on how can we work with community and residents to implement and ask for feedback on what strategies and what work we should do. Also, Kathy talked a little bit as well around the rural health work, and would love to hear if you have any insights on how to continue to best connect with some of those smaller communities in Olmsted County. And then lastly, if you have any thoughts on one of the sections here within our needs assessment is our community quotes, and would love if you or your or the organizations that you represent have had the opportunity to do any qualitative data collection around different health topics. So this could be anything like focus groups or community forums, listening sessions, conversations, anything like that. And if you have some of those insights and quotes around health, would love to incorporate those into the assessment as well. So just some questions, again, just to give you a preview before I talk a lot, and then we end with some conversation and questions at the end. So wanting to start and share some more information about the needs assessment in our process. So the community health assessment and planning process is really about improving the health and well-being of residents in Olmsted County. Every 3 years, we conduct a health needs assessment, which we call the CHNA, to determine our health priorities, what are our top health issues, formulate a plan to address the needs, and publish an annual progress report. Public Health, Mayo Clinic, and Olmsted Medical Center engage with diverse partners across our community to lead this process. And if you're like me and more of a visual person, this visual kind of depicts the process. So our CHNA, our health needs assessment that we'll talk more about, is kind of this assess community health and identify community health needs bubbles. And then we're heading and where we'll be moving this year is really moving toward addressing community health needs. And so you can kind of see the circular process while engaging the community throughout. So these will be some of the slides that I'll move through a little bit more quickly, just sharing some general highlights. But again, we'll share the slides afterwards as well. So the CHNA, our health needs assessment, really helps describe different factors of health in our community. We also go through and we have 15 different demographics that we incorporate throughout our equity sections within the CHNA. So really being able to understand health at a high level, but then being able to explore health among various populations and communities. And then, of course, being able to use this data to help prioritize and figure out what are our top health issues and what are we going to do about that. So I won't go into too much detail of why conducting a community health needs assessment, but really being able to understand and share information about health and well-being among our residents. There's some requirements that the 3 agencies, Mayo Clinic, Olmsted Medical Center, and Olmsted County Public Health require as well around conducting needs assessment every 3 years. And then also later I'll touch on more of how you can potentially use the CHNA with I know many community groups that you all either serve on or really help lead. Here's a list, not a comprehensive list, but partners and residents who were involved in creating the 2022 CHNA. You all, obviously, and many other residents and organizations throughout the process of through our kind of survey development process, through our prioritization and figuring out what are the top health issues through that process, and through getting the word out as well. So really appreciate CMRC's as well as everybody else contributions to the CHNA. I'll just share kind of a high level timeline, since you can see it goes back to February 2021. So it's quite a process for sure. But we utilize community surveys as one of our data sources. We have community surveys, qualitative data, so like focus groups, conversations, and we also look at a variety of other existing data sources as well. And so we worked with a bunch of community partners in 2021 to develop those community surveys to share out with our residents later in the year. One thing really excited to be able to share and walk through a little bit is our new website that we created that hopefully is going to be more user friendly, something that's able to input and take more feedback from folks that are using the platform and be able to update it in more real time. Excited to be able to show you that to you all in a couple minutes. Those community surveys, as I mentioned, were shared from November to January of 2022, so just over a year ago at this point. We have mailed surveys that went out to households, and then we also have convenience surveys that we translated into Spanish and Somali, and were also available in English. And we shared those with our community partners to be able to share with the clients or the people that they serve. Spent a lot of last year building out the CHNA in our new platform. And then in the middle there, worked on that prioritization process. So really, what are the top health issues in our community? Again, we had some engagement sessions as well as had surveys that we shared throughout our community also. And then the CHNA was released to released on our Olmsted County website in fall of 2022, so a few months ago. And then one, I think, last slide before being able to actually show that website is that we've really gathered feedback, and since I've been in the role for 2.5 years, one of the big drivers that our leadership team has and we have is to really improve the process throughout. In every 3 years that we do this, what are there ways for us to really improve? And so here are just some examples. We again reviewed the CHNA survey, which led to questions around financial wellness to really be able to better understand financial well-being, as well as disability or ability level. This is our CHNA. This cycle is the first time that we incorporated a question around disability into our survey. So I think that's a great advancement there. Enhancing our existing questions around gender identity and sexual orientation. We created 2 new indicators around sexual health. one other, I think, key continuous improvement opportunity is with our mailed survey, our core group. So that consists of those three agencies, Public Health, Mayo Clinic, and Olmsted Medical Center, really wanted us to review our current demographics that we had from our survey last time to see how can we increase representation for this cycle. And so really happy that we added in 2 additional samples in addition to that survey for communities of color, and then also for folks who live outside of Rochester. So I think that's a really opportunity for us to really increase representation for that survey. Creation of that platform that I'll stop talking about in a minute and actually show what it looks like. And also using the CHNA data around really applying for and receiving 2 health equity grants. One that Kathy talked about being able to partner with CMRC and Diversity Council for the rural health work. And then we have another grant that we're working on implementing and will be in the spring implementing a co-design project with the LGBTQ+ community. And then also formulating work group to identify strategies to create simple, concise communication about this overall process, because as you probably can learn in the last 5 or 10 minutes, it can be complicated at times. So great opportunity there as well. So I'll bring this over and show kind of what our platform looks like really briefly. We won't go into detail too much, but I'll let you know where you find it. So if you're on the Olmsted County website, so this is just the Olmsted County website, and search in the search bar, CHAP or CHAP, and I can send this website link when I send the slides as well. But this is what you'll find. And then if you click on this purple box here, it opens up our new online interactive CHNA. So this is a lot of information. I'll share some highlights. One is our community health priorities. If you click on this, so all you have to do is click on it. It'll share some more information about what are those top health issues our community said, and then what are we doing about them. 2 through 7 is all of our health indicators. So we have 37 different health issues that we look at. So this is a really neat opportunity, I think, depending on if you serve on a board of an organization or run an organization. There's a lot of opportunity here to really see data and gather information around the health of people that you might that live throughout Olmsted County. One other thing to highlight here, number 10, is our supplemental documents. So if you click on this, there's a bunch more information, but some highlights here is that there's the CHNA survey methodology, which walks through how we went about the survey process, as well as the demographics of individuals who participated in the survey. We have the survey questionnaire here, and so you just click on it and it goes through the whole survey questionnaire. And then the prioritization process, so identifying those health priorities, how we went about that process, and who participated. And then there's some more information here around navigation, offering feedback on kind of the platform website, a data request form as well if you're interested in learning more and getting some more data. And then we also have each of our 37 issues, health issues, in PDFs as well if you prefer more of the PDF format. So just a couple last slides here. I keep talking about the community health priorities. We went through again that prioritization process, and our community really described our top 3 issues as mental health, which has been an issue for a few cycles now, drug use, and then access to care, which is a new priority this cycle, and I think is really exciting to have some great opportunity to make an impact here in our community. I'll just share a higher level look of, you might be wondering, how are these priorities identified? So we look through a couple different lenses. One is through data, and then the other is through our community prioritization surveys. This data is coming directly from Olmsted County residents. So really looking at, for each of these issues, what percent of the population is impacted, what inequities and disparities exist, and then what does the trend look like of these issues? Is it getting better over time? Is it getting worse, or is it staying the same? And then our community prioritization surveys, again, these shared throughout our community, and really asking folks, what do you feel are our top health issues here in Olmsted County, and how quickly within the next 1 to 3 years should we be addressing it? So those are questions that we'd ask there within those. Then I mentioned this earlier, but I think this is really an opportunity. One, the CHNA obviously helps drive what those health priorities are, and eventually what the strategies will work on as a community. But knowing, again, all the different organizations and groups that you all represent and are part of, there's opportunities here for you to potentially use the data to apply for grants, in strategic planning, for justifying the use of resources, collaborating with maybe other organizations, and then being able to aligning work to address those top health issues as well. So we can all collectively impact these issues. So as you have the opportunity to look through and maybe look at an issue or two that's of interest to you, just kind of think in the back of your mind what opportunities might be there with that data and information. I think this is the last one. So you might be wondering what's next. We have those priorities. What's next? So kind of how the process works is that we have priorities that will continue through 2023. So this was identified through our CHNA back in 2019. Mental health, substance use, and financial stress. So we'll continue to work on the work and strategies that we identified for those. We'll be doing what we're calling data profiles on our new priorities, and this will really help us determine what are the areas of focus. Since these issues are so big and complex, where are some areas of focus, potentially some priority populations and communities that we can focus our strategies with. And then lastly, partners will really come together to identify strategies for those new priorities. So I know that was a lot of information, and again, happy to share the slides afterwards and include that link for the CHNA as well. So just a reminder of the discussion questions here. I know we've about a few minutes here, but happy to answer any questions that you have, or would love your insights and any insights that you have at all.
I know it's a lot of work, Derek, and it's been like you're saying, the CHAP process is it's a little bit complicated because you are involving a lot of partners and you're considering a lot of people. But why every 3 years why it has to be updated every 3 years? Because maybe just parts of it. I see the improvement in paying attention to the mental health and the substance use. However, it's not comprehensive of the well, I'm speaking probably with the barriers that we see from our lens of multicultural approach. We know already that the barriers exist. So doing another assessment and not working harder on those barriers to access, then it's gonna give you the same results. I don't know if I explain myself, but the barriers are the ones that they're not being lifted, or the access to the mental health or the substance use or the treatment. It's been ongoing for the past, I don't know, decades. So I know they're working on improvement of those priorities, but still, I can tell you substance use, that the way that helps looks like, it's complicated. We sometimes need to go outside Rochester to go for the culturally appropriate supports. So mental health and Spanish, very few, and we have a coalition working together to work on support. And yes, we will be so awesome to use the data that Olmsted County has through the platform that was created. I'm very, very thankful because that solves a lot of the local sharing of data. So thank you, thank you.
No, thank you.
The trends is what I'm talking about. That in 3 years you're gonna have to do it all over again, or
Yeah, well, first, really appreciate your thoughts. And I think that's something, in even my reflections as well, kind of being added or joining Olmsted County and taking this role as we were in the middle of our current health process. I think that that's really the opportunity that we have, is to how can we collectively as organizations address some of these bigger issues, as you're saying. So hopefully 5 or 6 years down the road, we don't continue to see them be issues. Obviously, they're big, complex issues, but where the opportunities that we can work with the community to address. So I'll continue to bring I'll share your thoughts to kind of the leadership team and be able to share that with them as well. And then just noting kind of the 3-year process that's with some of those statute requirements. That's where the 3 years comes in terms of doing the assessment every 3 years. One thing, just thinking about the data and the information, is with the new platform, is that we have potential to update that more frequently, rather than in the past it was more of a PDF, static PDF. So have it every 3 years and then get the information 3 years later. So this will hopefully allow more kind of data to be shared as it's more readily available. So, but I really appreciate your feedback and thoughts there.
I guess I would like to also echo on what Miriam said, but I would like also to offer a class, a resource. We did pass those surveys to our community, but I wonder if we can be as a resource to you of doing an event of how to answer or what is the meaning of each of the questions. Because even for me, sometimes I have to read it again, the questions that they were in the survey. So I wonder if for a person that is not their first language, and I know it was translated, it was very helpful. I just wonder how it can be, or we can support you. I don't know if we can be a support in the future.
Really appreciate that, Gloria. And I think one thing that I didn't mention with the convenience survey and the prioritization is that we did work with IMAA in terms of more of that interpretation of the survey, since, as you're saying, it can definitely be complex survey. So I think that's excellent, and see if ACLA in the future potentially when we have some more of these engagement opportunities, and then 3 years down, or now 2 years down the road, when we do the next assessment, see if there's more of those opportunities as well. Really appreciate that. You're muted, Al.
Okay, yeah, I was at one thought here. There's some similarity between the cultural appropriate communication between what Gloria has brought up with the RCTC project, RCTC uh, project, in that any kind of communication now is paying the co-designer, okay, to come up with a cultural appropriate communication. So I guess I'm encouraging you, as you think through deep in the future, find some money so that as you explore collaboration with the cultural groups, ethnic groups, that there's some value for the time they're spending on your project. Otherwise, a lot of times, yeah, we're kind-hearted, we want to be generous and offer the services. Still, there should be some kind of substantial value to the time that we spend and also the knowledge that we have, you know. So there are many consultants out there, they get big bucks, right? We all know that, to do consulting for projects. So the thought really is the minority groups have certain competency and points of view that need to be valued appropriately. So I'm hoping that this message comes through to you and other folks as well, that as you think about engaging with CMRC, think about that we also should have some kind of monetary value that can be assigned to the groups. That's my thought here.
No, appreciate that, Al. Absolutely. And I think, well, I'll absolutely share that with kind of the leadership team. And I think I'm really happy that we've also kind of gone through like the co-design process of partnering with Diversity Council and the rural health process, and the co-design project we'll have with the LGBTQ plus community as well. So hopefully that's something that as we continue to move forward, that and I'll be yeah, I think hopefully that's something that the leadership team and us continue to do in terms of that co-design approach and compensating folks for their experience and time.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Any feedback? Or if not, we can call it an evening. And thank you everybody for coming. And we meet again in a month. Okay. Good
So
evening.
much, lots of good information.
Also, if you can share this opportunity with others, whenever there was a question about how people find out about this opportunity of the Community Mobilization Resource Coalition to bring issues that concern our communities. It sometimes is by word of mouth, that it's a way to let other people know that we're here and we consider those opportunities in a small steering committee to be able to present today every month. So please help us out, those that are that know about our services. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Having said that, good evening. Have a good.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
So, Kathy, just one question. You're recording still, right? You gotta.
Bye.
Yeah.